It is true. Louisiana is one of the fastest disappearing land masses on Earth. Louisiana's coastal landscapes that border the Gulf of Mexico lose a football field of wetlands every hour on average. As time ticks on, our nation has already lost more land than the entire state of Delaware. But that doesn't intimidate a group of strong, hardworking scientists, engineers, construction workers, and citizens. These people have decided not to wage a war, but to be brave enough to build and rebuild a land, a culture, an ecosystem, and a home they all love, want to save, and don't want to trade. There are certainly a host of serious reasons for this land loss.
Wetland loss in Louisiana is caused by both natural and man-made factors. From a natural standpoint, Louisiana is largely a river delta, and it's undergoing losses that normally occur in the geologic cycle of a delta. Those losses are related to the subsidence of the substrate, and that causes inundation of the plants as well as saltwater intrusion, which leads to plant loss. From a man-made standpoint, we've leveed the Mississippi River, which has eliminated the annual overflow of the river and the sediment input to those wetlands. We've cut lots of navigation channels which have allowed saltwater intrusion into the landscape. So you have a combination of both man-made and natural causes for loss in Louisiana.
And no one group, no one cause, no one sinister reason has brought about the change. It is a result of decades of natural and man-made assaults on this fragile ecosystem. This is a positive group of people working on restoration who will tell you that CWPPRA projects protect and preserve wetlands. No, it isn't rocket science, but it certainly is ecosystem restoration at its best. And these folks have years of experience.
We do coastal restoration in Louisiana because we have to. Obviously because of the natural effects, subsidence, and sea level rise, and the impacts that man has had over the years. Without the effort that we have and ongoing efforts that we have, it's going to be almost impossible to sustain, rehabilitate, and maintain what we have. So we're doing these projects to hang on to what we have.
No one technique can solve all the problems.
With all the ongoing loss that we have of Louisiana's wetlands, we're attempting a number of different projects and project types to try to stem that loss. Those can range from anything from diversions of the Mississippi River, barrier island restoration, marsh creation using dredge material, shoreline protection projects, vegetative plantings, and hydrologic restoration.
Today, under the Coastal Wetlands Planning, Protection, and Restoration Act, or CWPPRA, technologies, manpower, and partnerships bring people together in true green jobs, restoring Louisiana's wetlands.
Partners within the CWPPRA process involve both state, federal, and public stakeholders and user groups. It's a synergy so much that we can have the support of the federal partners to provide funding and also technical support. And working with those federal partners, the state will provide the operation and maintenance to implement those projects. And the locals are the critical component of the process because obviously they use the resource that we're trying to protect.
That's the only way that Apache or most landowners can afford to put restoration projects like this on our property. CWPPRA is the entity that can get projects on the ground the quickest and at a scale that will do some good.
Levees alone will never save coastal communities that provide the United States of America with a connection to the world through its navigation ports protected by wetlands. Provide the nation with fisheries like shrimp, blue crab, and menhaden that use these Gulf wetlands as nursery grounds and hold a major resource of domestic oil and gas.
The resources this wetland provides to the nation are important in so much as the waterways themselves. If you look at navigation, 5 of the top ports in the nation are within coastal Louisiana. You look at the significance in terms of what the habitat provides. Apart from oil and gas, of which we're the second leading producer in natural gas and oil, we're also #1 in terms of what we provide in poundage and dollar value for seafood, #1 in finfish, #1 in crabs, oysters, and shellfish. Alaska is the only other state outside of the 48 contiguous states that provides more fisheries than coastal Louisiana. So it's critical from the fact that all the resources it provides, but also the potential benefit that the whole nation will continue continue to derive by protecting this area.
Really, we've got to spend more money in South Louisiana if we're going to be serious about hanging on to what we have left. It's a wonderful place to live, a wonderful place to recreate, it's a wonderful place to work. So we're not leaving. I'm afraid the land may leave us if we don't do something more important about it.
Without coastal wetlands, the nation will lose one of the most valuable ecosystems in the world. In fact, the Environmental Defense Fund has recognized coastal Louisiana, or the loss of coastal Louisiana, as the greatest ecological disaster that this nation faces. And it's critical that we restore and protect this area for the habitat, for the resources that it provides, and the protection of the coastal communities that the nation depends on.
With CWPPRA's federal efforts and Louisiana's state match, solutions driven by ecological challenges continue to protect this valuable national resource housed in Louisiana, but a treasure to all of America.